I'd like to welcome to Metal Shop 101, David Reece. How you doing, David?
Hey guys, greetings from Italia.
So let's go back to the beginning of Bangalore Choir. The
Okay.
band was originally formed with members coming from Hurricane Alice, XYZ, and all that kind of stuff. What was the?
No XYZ members. No.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Razormaid. There was a couple guys from Razormaid out of Reno, Nevada.
Yeah. So how was it like working with them together back in the day?
Well, the first guy was John Kirk, who was in Razormaid. I met him at GIT.
Okay.
Well, he kind of found me because I put up ads looking for a guitar player after Accept, and brought him in. And we originally had Joey Tafoya playing guitar with us for a while.
Okay.
And a guy named Danny Greenberg on bass, rest in peace. We just lost him a few months ago. But during that time, Joey didn't work out, so John said, "Listen, we're wasting our time. I know this guy Kurt Mitchell in Reno from Razormaid.
Right.
I want to bring him down and introduce you to him." And I got to say, I showed up at John's apartment. It was kind of the GIT Animal House, I guess. All the guys stayed there, Ellison and all those guys. And
Yeah.
I walked in, and Kurt had like 2 full stacks and about 4 gallons of wine that he drank that day, and plugged in. And I was sitting on the bed and just watched him play. And my mouth dropped. I was like, "Who is this guy?" You know?
Right. So, and Bangalore Choir in the beginning was kind of came out. I mean, it's a cult classic album for us true diehard metalheads, but it kind of came out right at the surge of grunge.
Mm. Yeah, the death knell had rung.
Yeah. I mean,
strange. We had no idea about grunge. I mean, I had seen Soundgarden at the Palace and was blown away, but I had no idea of the impact that was soon to come.
Right. And you guys had some pretty big name co-writers on that first album with you too, didn't you?
Yeah, we had gone right into rehearsal when I formed the band. We had the momentum. We'd written probably 20 or so songs. We had a little 8-track going, and we would rented this garage space from where they made LAPD uniforms. And it was night after night. I pushed those guys. I brought that German work ethic back with me after Accept, so I forced them into just work.
Right.
And so when we signed, it was like after 9 shows, which technically in LA means about 9 months.
Right.
And sitting down with the suit and tie guys, they said, we need some hits. So they introduced me to Steve Plunkett, Autograph, and he brought in like 4 or 5 songs, and I chose Angel in Black. And then the bassist from Styx, I can't remember his name right now, it eludes me. He brought in Loaded Gun.
Right.
Then my personal kind of assistant manager guy said that Bon Jovi and Aldo had a couple of songs they wanted to show us, so I checked them out, and I went with the track "Doing the Dance." Was kind of the strongest. I think it was called something else when we met and originally heard the song, but we added all the cool harmonies and changes because Curtis is rather purist with his ways. He was absolutely opposed to Loaded Gun and the Bon Jovi song, but the corporate game playing that has to go on. We followed the bouncing ball and kind of made it our own.
Right. Let me ask you this. Bangalore Choir is such a unique name. How did you come up with that name?
Brother is a retired Marine. Nephew as well, just returned, thank God, from Syria. A Bangalore is a military torpedo. It's essentially a threaded tube that they put under Constantine wire and blow up for access going into combat. And my brother called me and said, "Why don't you call it Bangalore?" And I go, "What? Isn't that a city in India?" And he goes, "Yeah, but it's a military torpedo essentially." And being that everybody in the band was a singer, I wanted to kind of make it explosive vocals. So that's kind of where it came from. And it's not easy for other countries to even say the name. I mean, you should hear it choir, they call it chore, the Asian Bangalore. I mean, it's a fight, but it's a brand and it's stuck, you know.
Right. It's a very cool name. Definitely different.
Thank you.
And
I
then
love it.
you went on to you filled some shoes with Accept on Eat the Heat.
Yeah, before Bangalore, I couldn't get arrested, you know, in LA before, except I had basically thrown my hat in and went back, joined up my family in Colorado at the time where they were living, and Hoffman called me and had heard a 5-song demo I did with Mitch Perry
Right.
from Talent. And he called me out of the blue one night and asked me if I was interested in an audition, and I'd be a fool to say no. So when I went back to LA after they fired me, I had all the momentum. I mean, everybody knew me, and you know, it opened a ton of doors for me.
Right.
So, Accept was really the key to me bringing this Bangalore choir record to the forefront.
Right. And now you have Bangalore Choir, Rapid Fire Succession 2 coming out.
Yeah.
And you just released the song Bullet Train, which
Yes, sir.
is an amazing song. I love
Thank you
it.
very much.
And it's glad to see that. I've noticed like a lot of you old school metalers are coming back, which is I think is fantastic.
Thank you. There's a reason for that. I mean, I've been kind of on my own as a solo artist for the past 5 years or so, and I do pretty well. You know, I get festivals, I get clubs, but branding is what it's all about, brother. And I kind of was watching what was going on. I saw that Mike Tramp had done the White Lion thing and all that, and I just returned last December from a French tour that I did. And on the way home, I was thinking, you know, this is going okay,
Right.
but the name isn't strong enough. I need to put the brand behind it. And I'm not what you'd call a metal singer. I'm a hard rock singer.
Well,
So
yeah.
I called my manager and I said, Valentin, I run a reformed Bangalore choir, and all the agents and managers were jumping up and down, going, okay, great. Now we get it. The brand is there. We can really sell this,
Right.
you know. But I had to go, to be honest, bro, I had to go back in time, which is really tough, and study On Target, the first album,
Right.
because I had released a few Bangalore choir albums over the years.
Right.
You know, when I play those songs live from that record, which I do in every set, I'm shocked at how many people know those songs, because when grunge came, as you mentioned earlier, we were all told that rock was dead. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that Europe and the UK, that Bangalore was kicking doors. And had I known, I would have brought the band over and continued on. But we were told get a real job and you know,
Right.
blah blah blah. But you know, watching the audience response to All or Nothing, Angel in Black, Freight Train, Slipping Away, those songs live, and seeing people that I've never played in certain countries before singing those songs, I knew that there was something there that I had to reconnect
Right.
with.
Well,
But by doing so, it was not easy, and I think I did it with Rapid Fire Succession, because we wrote like 3 or 4 songs, Andy Susamil and I, and it just wasn't grabbing me. I said, dude, we need to get into the books and study and go back. Try to go back to '92 in your head. It's not an easy thing to do.
right. And the thing is those people over there in the UK and Germany and all that, that's a whole nother breed of people. They are
Yeah.
diehard fans. I mean, I love them people over there. I get a lot of followers from the UK and stuff, and they are just diehard fans. There's
Well,
nobody else like them.
yeah, the big difference is, you know, USA, it's here today, gone later today. And in Europe and the UK, if they love something that you do, even if you throw out a few stinker records, they'll stand behind you.
Right.
There's a loyalty to the audience, the fans of a group. If they like it, they'll stand by it.
Right.
Now they'll shit on you, you know, pardon the language, if you do an average album, but they won't throw the hat in, you know.
Right.
And that's one thing about Europe that I really love.
Oh yeah, them people are amazing.
Yeah.
Now, who all do you have in the band with you this time for Bangalore Choir?
Well, I had to sit down, like I said, and study On Target And I had worked with Andy Susamil since I met him in Accept days when he was with UDO.
Yeah.
And he had done a few Bangalore records since then. And they really didn't quite touch it. There'd be like 2 or 3 really strong tracks, and the rest would be what we call filler.
Right.
But Andy and I are probably 90% of the record together as writers, and him playing lead guitar on it. And then I reached out to Mario Percadani, who played with Hardline for a long time, another great songwriter and guitar player.
Yeah.
He and I composed 3 together for the record. I got Freddie Dorenberg from Axel Rudy Pell on keyboards on a few tracks. I wrote a really cool song with him. Gorka Allegra, who played bass on part of the UDO Steel Factory tour that I did as a special guest in 2018, I believe it was. We toured Europe together.
Okay.
It's a collective of really great guys that are suited for this style of rock and roll.
Right.
And I still keep on the record my drummer from my solo work, Nelo Savinelli and Riccardo Di Marosi on bass. I mean, they're my neighbors. I mean, I do a lot of recording at Riccardo's studio. It's called the Sound Garden, actually. And when you have a really tight rhythm section, you got to have somebody drive nails live, bro, and those guys do. So why change it if it doesn't? It's why it's not broke. You know what I mean?
Right. Now the first single out is Bullet Train. Can you tell us what Bullet Train's about?
Kind of like in the press release, Andy and I were talking about it, and it's just everything is ridiculous and nonstop stress. We talked about, the fan base in Europe, they stick with you, but it seems like with social media, so much garbage is thrown at us that 10 minutes I forgot what I was talking about and looking at.
Right.
For instance, if somebody passes away, like that's really famous in the rock world, the one that seems to have lasted is Ozzy. But there's been a lot of great talent in the last year or so that have passed that were big inspirations to me. Mick Ralphs, a bunch of guys, didn't really have that impact. And that kind of goes back to that, Mick Ralphs passed today. Well, rest in peace.
Right.
With Ozzy, my wife was even saying today, I mean, people are still paying tribute to him, which he wholeheartedly deserves. But yeah, I mean, I hope I answered your question there. I mean,
Right. So, do you have a release date for the new album yet?
Yeah, Bravewords, God bless them, been great for me. And Giles Lavery and Michael Brandvold, all the guys there. October 24th, 2025. And it's actually 16 songs. And the concept, we had written about 24 that we loved.
Right.
And it was a tough nut to crack to pick that 16.
I'll bet.
So basically, it's Act 1 and Act 2, which is a little bit similar to what Steinman was doing with, Meatloaf and stuff, because it's heavy harmonies, heavy melodies like you hear in Bullet Train, high energy rock.
Right.
But the first act is 8 songs, second act is 8 songs.
Right.
And October 24th, which coincidentally coincides with my first headlining tour at Bangalore, which will be the 29th in France of October.
Nice.
We're going to do 5 shows there, and then we go out with Alcatraz and Girls School in November.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
A lot of fun right now.
Right. Let me ask you this. How have you seen the music scene change compared to what it used to be till now? I mean, and what I mean by that is, how do you feel about all the computerized stuff now? Has it made it better? Has it made it worse? I mean, with AI in effect now, anybody can cut a song, and say, hey, this is my song. But the thing is everybody seems like they're out for clicks anymore. It's not, I know there's no gatekeepers anymore for the record labels, but it's changed so much over the years. I mean,
it's hard to wrap my head around. I mean, of course, studio convenience, with Pro Tools and everything, it's a lot faster, but I'm adamantly opposed to AI work. If you can't sing, I can tell right away if a computer is fixing your voice. I mean, that doesn't make you a rock singer. You got to live it, man. That's complacency. You know what I mean? everybody wants to be famous, and they've kind of forgotten what rock and roll is. You gotta suffer and pay your dues if you're a true artist. You can't just go in a bedroom and plug in plugins and go,
Right.
I'm a singer or a guitar player. I mean, back in the day, I mean, if you saw a kid that was 9 years old shredding like they do now, of course you'd be like, what is that?
Right.
But
Exactly.
I'm more of I mean, honestly, I'm wearing a shirt right now. I mean, Blackberry Smoke. I
Right.
mean, I'm not a purist, but I like real rock and roll bands,
Right.
and the convenience of it is detrimental because everybody's putting out a record 20 times or more a day,
Right.
and they're buying clicks, and that's real easy to see if they're fake. I mean,
Right.
no comments. There's no people talking about the song. Like when I do interviews, if somebody gives me like a 7.5 out of a 10,
Right.
that means they really sat down and listened to the record. You know what I mean? You see bands that are getting 10 out of 10 on every release they do. And you look at like say their banner on their page and they've got a new album out, but the album they did 3 years ago is still at the top of their page.
Right.
It's to me just like McDonald's drive-through. By the time I leave a drive-through McDonald's, I forgot what I ate when I hit the first stoplight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like
Yeah.
I eat fries before I'm even out of the driveway waiting on traffic, and then we have roundabouts here.
Yeah.
So by the time I get to the roundabout and I get home with my family, I'm like, what did I buy? And
Yeah.
that's kind of like music. It's become really disposable. And I'm more of a guy that'll go, that guitar player has always done it for me. That's why Andy is part of my life. He grew up playing in his bedroom when he was 14, learning Strangers in the Night with
Right.
Schenker, backwards and forwards,
Right.
and Gary Moore and Jimmy Page. I mean, then they kind of somehow become their own guy,
Right.
hopefully. Just like a singer. I mean, when I went into Accept, Dieter Dirk said to me, you have a great voice, but I don't know what it is yet, neither do you.
Right.
And I didn't know what that meant because it's my job to find out who David Reece is. And he
Right.
did, you know,
Right.
God bless him. So these bands, I mean, it's one guy.
Right.
I mean, I get people they submit me material all the time. Hey, I want to write with you. And he's playing everything, he's singing everything. And it's like every song sounds the same. It's in the same key. There's no dynamic, there's no pre chorus, there's no bridge, and there's really no story.
Right.
Lyrics, and I'm sure you can appreciate this. You're a rock guy.
Yeah.
There's songs that touch you lyrically.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. And
you wake up and it's stuck in your head, and there's a
right.
reason for that.
Right.
AI, you could type in lyrics and say, I would like to write a song about this. And they say, well, that's a wonderful topic. What would you like it in? Funk, jazz,
Yeah.
rap, rock?
Exactly.
I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah. I
God,
think
I pray that music is not dead, you know?
right. Well, the thing is I tell people all the time, some people will be like, back in the day there was these mythological creatures that could actually sing, you know,
Mm,
without auto tune and all
yeah.
that stuff, and I think the computer scene has ruined it for a lot of bands. I
Well,
mean,
same talking about singers, it was okay in the 70s and 80s to sing a little off key.
right,
It was the vibe of the song. You didn't have to be pitch perfect. And
right.
look at the world of crap we're in now. Beyonce's got the biggest grossing successful country tour on the universe.
I
That should
know.
tell you right there
Yeah.
that music is in trouble because
Oh
none
yeah.
of that is
I
real.
agree. I agree.
You know, I mean, I'd rather see Steven Tyler on a bad night and
Right.
still go, that guy's got it. You
Right.
know, Roger Daltrey, Paul Rogers,
Right.
Freddie Mercury. Those guys were trendsetters, man,
Oh yeah. I
and
agree.
they still are.
Oh yeah. Well, I've noticed too, doing what I do, a lot of new upcoming bands are going back to that old school 70s rock vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and lately it's kind of been like an explosion of it. I mean, you got so
Yeah.
many great bands out there that are doing the old school vibe. I mean, we have a band here in Pennsylvania called Sweet Desire that is absolutely just killing it. And these
Right.
kids are 20 years old and they went back to that old school rock vibe, which I think is great. I think it's what the music scene needed was and I call it a jump start,
Mm.
you know, to be like, hey, you can really do this without AI or, you know, all this computer stuff. Cause
Yeah.
the band Sweet
I
Desire, they
totally.
just absolutely kill it.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of bands like Dirty Honey and Rival Sons,
Right.
and I mean, I just saw Blackberry Smoke in Italy, and you know, it's a
Oh, yeah.
3,000. There's 1,000 people there, but I'll tell you, watching a bunch of Italians sing a bunch of redneck country rock kind of guys,
Right.
to me, they're kind of the new Tom Petty in a way,
Right.
because they're organic and they're talking about what goes on, and
Right.
they're playing their instruments. They're not singing perfect, but there's a vibe there.
Right.
And there's so many bands that are so vibeless, dude. I mean, they may have had a hit song in 1981. For God's sakes, if you could write that song in 81, you can keep writing hit songs,
Right.
you know? You know what I mean? I mean, so to hear young guys, you know, as opposed to being in a tribute band for that easy $200 a night gig,
Right.
you know, who wants to go see somebody dress up like Rob Halford and sing or try to sing like Halford? I mean, I wouldn't pay to see that.
No, I agree with you. And I think at this point in time in the music scene locally, I call it the disease because there is absolutely too many cover bands and tribute bands, quote unquote. You know, I could see being a tribute band if, you know, like being one for Motorhead, Lemmy passed away. I could see that. You know, Ozzy passing away. I have a good friend of mine that does a Black Sabbath Ozzy tribute band, and he's fantastic at it. And but just to go out and play other people's songs all night long in a club, you know,
I
the
mean,
same
we
set
all
list
get
that's
it.
been drowned into our heads for 50 years. You know, it's
Well, I mean, there's
crazy.
a few reasons why, bro. I mean, it's financially safe for the venue
Right,
because they bands will play for the door
right,
and they'll play their local region and their 200 friends will show up to shake hands and get wasted and
right,
support their buddies or
right,
their girlfriends.
right,
Uh, but it's actually hurt these 20-something-year-old bands and me
right,
with that competition. Like it used to be in the 80s, we played 7 nights a week, 4 or 5 sets a night. We had to play covers, but we'd always try to write a song, throw it in there in our set. And of course, everybody would go to the bar or the toilet when you're playing your song. But those are the breeding grounds.
right.
And what I fear now is the breeding grounds have been sterilized. And by that, I hope you understand. You know, I say carpe diem, bro.
Yeah,
Seize the day. Put down, and if you believe in that song, like as a singer, and I plant my stinking bare feet into the carpet behind the mic, if I feel it's a good song, I'm going to sing it like a
right,
real song. If
right,
I don't feel it, I don't want to be an actor. That's why there's actors, you
right.
know? And I don't mean to sound negative, but I agree with a lot of what you're saying. These tributes have kind of run their course as well.
Right.
You know, give the real rock and rollers a break. The venues, open the door. If you're
Right.
willing to take a look at a guy who wants to be Bon Jovi and dress like him, that's absurd.
Right.
There's 50 bands like that in your state. There's 100 of them in my country.
Right.
You know,
I get it.
and they all look the same. They all play the same set list.
Yep. It
Yawn.
yeah, it's a shame that the original rock and roll scene has faded. But
Yeah,
I see it back on the rise a little bit. You know, like I said, with these newer bands coming out doing the old school rock. But it's just it's gone too far as
yeah.
far as I'm concerned. People need to get back out, start seeing original music again, and you know, forget
It's
these
too
cover bands.
comfortable, man. I
Oh yeah,
mean, everyone wants to have a 9-seater Sprinter van and all the amenities. Man, I travel in a station wagon with all the gear tied on top.
right.
You think does anybody really believe that Elvis Presley was a megastar when he started? I mean, the guy, they slept in vans. I lived in Tennessee for a while,
Right.
and there was a guy who would cook barbecue, and you'd have to put your order in on Monday and pick it up on Sunday because so many people liked his barbecue.
Right.
And he would tell me stories about Elvis driving through the backwoods of Tennessee. They would pull up at his house and say, "If you feed us, we'll play for you."
Right.
That's how hard it was.
Yeah.
But Elvis had it. Yeah. There's a lot of bands that don't have it
Right.
musically, visually, or even in their hunger. I mean, they become complacent in the fact that, oh, we can go play Friday night at our local beer hall
Right.
and cover half Sabbath, half Priest tunes and have the same faces. But are they willing to go, you know what? Let's take a risk. Let's go out and really pound it.
Right.
You know, the
Exactly.
authenticity of rock and roll, that's what makes rock so cool. It's supposed to be dangerous. It's supposed to
Right.
be life-threatening,
Right.
because it is.
Right. Absolutely. Let me ask you one last question, David. Do you have any advice for upcoming singers, artists?
Practice. Practice your craft every day. I sing, well, I could say 7 days a week, but I honestly sing 6 days a week for an hour because your audience expects that from you. They want to hear you sing that record. Um, if you believe in it, release it. Don't let some stupid suit and tie guy who thinks he's a manager or a promoter tell you what's best for you. The hardest thing for me to say when I was young and up and coming was no.
Right.
And when I realized saying no, I started to get some of the rewards. I kicked myself like a one-legged man in an kicking contest because when you say no and you stand up for what you believe in, you'd be amazed at the turnaround and people say, well, what can I do to make you happy?
Right. Right.
If they believe in what you're doing and if you do it really well, now you could, be pretentious and, go out there and wear the tight pants and get all the chicks and all that stuff. But that's not what it is, man.
Uh,
Part of it,
right.
you don't have to be drunk. Being sober for me is cool. I used to
Right.
think I had to be on drugs or be an alcoholic to make it work. You don't.
Uh, so, all right, David. I won't hold you up any longer. October 24th, Bangalore Choir out with the new album, Rapid Fire Succession Part 2. Looking forward to it, man.
All I can do is thank you guys, man. Thank you for pumping my record and my
No
single.
problem.
We got another one coming out. It's called Driver's Seat, probably in the next month. And then there'll be a third one, which
Okay.
which I think is it takes a lot to say this and not brag. It's called I Never Meant To. It's a very emotional song. I'm
Okay.
really excited about that too. It's on the record. I wrote it with Mario. But I thank you from my heart for really standing up with rock and roll. You guys are the ones out there really pumping bands. I see bands I never heard of, but I'm
Right.
like, man, they're putting these guys on rotation every day.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, doing what I do, there's so many great bands out there that are original that never get heard.
Yeah,
They don't get out of their city or town or province or whatever. They don't get heard. And that's why
yeah,
I love doing what I do because I get to hear bands from all over the world. And there are some
yeah,
absolutely amazing artists out there that are
yeah.
just absolutely incredible.
When I did Grass Pop last year in Belgium, and there's bands you've kind of heard of, but the audience enthusiasm for bands from even Limp Bizkit to Panther to me, just watching the audience, the joy at that festival, 50,000 people going
Wow.
cuckoo for performance.
Right.
It's something you can explain, man. And that's what we need to bring back is the joy for music, real music, and people like you, because there are too kinds of artists, I believe. There's the player and there's the listener.
Right.
And that's
So-
my advice.
All right, David. Thank you very much. October 24th out on Bravewords Records.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for your
looking forward
time.
to that new single.
Thank you very much. It's coming, man. I've already delivered the video to all the bosses. So soon, my friend.
All right, David. Hey, thanks a million for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.